Hey guys, it's not your pal, the Dancing Housewife, but welcome back to the Dancing Housewife podcast. I'm Carolyn Klein, and this week we're back for another week of dishing with the Duff couple, or at least half the Duff couple, since Ross is still gallivanting through Europe. This week I'm joined by Hannah again for some girl talk as we recap episode 2, The Night of One-Hit Wonders. Did you notice that the one-hit wonders were the reason that they were using one-word judges' responses? Because I was just annoyed by it all night.
It was definitely a double whammy. It kept it concise for one judge, and it also tied in with the theme.
I would have loved more feedback and less interviewing in the box. But anyways, let's jump right into it. First up, we had Alex, Earl, and Val, and they did a jive. Mambo number 5, are you kidding me? It's in the name. It's a mambo. For those who don't know, it is not a jive, and that is why the dance felt slow. There was no energy. It was so hard to watch, and she's going to be fighting those turned-in toes all season.
So what we're hearing is Carolyn loved it. She thought it really opened the show off just with a great start. In her little package beforehand, she said, "This dance is tiring." Well, she did dance it like she was tired. I felt like the choreo was okay, and I thought it was a little bit, like, ever so slightly better than last week, but the connections were high. Her legs looked super tired at the end. I just thought, okay, her hair's going all over the place. It made me chuckle a little bit.
Listen, I would not have looked any better doing a jive. Let's be real.
Let's talk about how the judges loved it.
It was weird. They gave her a 777, and we were all like, where? What were we watching the same dance? What is going on? But Bruno did look amazing in his sparkly jacket. That was really fun.
Obsessed. Another sparkly look. We'll give that a 10.
All right, up next, we had Danielle, Fischl, and Pasha. They did a Chacha. What did you think?
Let's start off with the fact that she has a hamstring tear. My day job is a physical therapist, and a deep tissue massage right after a hamstring tear, unless it was an old hamstring tear, that probably wouldn't be the first thing I would have recommended, but whatever. She's right. Amazing leg makeup, because you would never have seen those bruises. I feel like it got better throughout, but it's Chacha. It's supposed to be sexy, but it just looked a little sleepy.
I actually, for once, agreed with Carrie Ann.
Say what?
When she asked her, were you breathing? Like you said, that it got better as it went on because maybe she started breathing. She's just thinking too hard, and she needs to focus on performing. And I feel like she can step that up. I thought it was really fun to watch for somebody with no dance experience. And if she was on a regular season, she'd be doing pretty well. But because so many people have so much dance experience, I'm a little nervous. I'm still rooting for her. And I do think that she has a lot of the nostalgia vote. And I hope she starts feeling better because injuries are scary. Yeah.
One other silly note, Danielle wore a watch, like a dress watch with her Cha-Cha costume. It was weird. Like, what a choice.
I didn't even notice that, but good catch.
Yeah, I'm like, did she forget to take it off before filming started? Like, what a strange choice.
Somebody had to be in charge of watching out for that. Yeah, interesting.
Watching.
So the judges judged them. The judges gave them a 7.66. Appropriate. Yeah. I wasn't mad about it.
Same.
Next up, Andy and Emma did a tango. Oof.
Tell me more. What'd you think?
It wasn't really that tango-y. I didn't hate it as much as his first dance. What was that weird arm kiss at the end, too? That was a little bit uncomfy. The wink was cute, but the arm kiss? Did that need to happen? I don't know.
Poor Emma also had to get rained on at the intro. She's already got to work really hard, but let's first just hit her with a bunch of wind and rain and then send her out there with Andy. I can find him a little endearing because he's talking about how physical activity is making him feel better about himself.
Yeah, I do think that he's getting a lot of pity votes. He's like really pulling on the heartstrings. The judges gave him a 6.55. I thought it was appropriate.
Yeah, I will say I just literally said nothing about the dancing, and that's exactly what they tried to do, was make his little presentation nothing about the dancing.
Next up, we had Lauren and Brandon, and they did a foxtrot. Another terribly funny Courtney quote was, "She should have danced to one of her own one-hit wonders." They have two very popular songs, okay? Two. In all seriousness, that dance was so good. We were all screaming at the end. Or maybe it was just me. I thought she had really nice frame. Her standing spin, those are hard, and she killed it. I agree with Derek. She looked like a princess. And you know what, Justin? You were so right. Brandon had some good choreo. I loved it. Nice job.
I thought the back of her dress was boring again. Let's give the girl a little bit more exciting of a costume. She is stunning. Her face is just, it's so beautiful. I loved the dance. I loved that it was for her grandmother. I keep thinking though, like Brandon's frame is particularly bad in the closed work. He is the one losing frame, but she is a really good performer. She really embodied this elegant foxtrot style. The judges said, it's not perfect yet. Some of it was a little funky and awkward, but I think fine tuning those little details will really elevate where she's already starting because it's so good.
Yeah. I was surprised though. The judges gave her a 7.77, and I can't believe she got the same score as Alex because I thought her dancing was so much better.
I would have given her an 8.
Me too. So on the same page. So next up, we had Jordan and Ezra, and they danced to Jive. I've danced a revenge Mambo before, but damn, that was a revenge Jive. She was definitely making up for those early bad scores. She was out to get a score. That back bend at the beginning was unreal. That jump over him was so high. He's like real tall. I was scared for her safety, but it was so fun. She had really good spins for the most part. She was light on her feet. Ezra's clearly in his element. He's a competitive jive dancer, so he was looking good. I was really excited about the dance. Her costume was cute. I love some fringe pants. I was really happy to see them come back strong.
Absolutely. I thought Ezra, too, just really matched the right energy for them. It looked like good partnering to me. And damn, he put 58 spins in that routine. And for the most part, I'll give her an A- on the spins the whole time. That's really hard. And she did a really good job. It was super intricate. But you're right. The look on her face was like, I am going to show you that I should not be getting 5s with these old men that also got 5s last week. So good for her.
So they got an 8.77, which I was happy that they got a better score, like a dramatically better score than the week before. But again, I just feel like the judging is not lining up. I did not think that they should have gotten a higher score than Lauren. It felt a little weird to me, like their scales are off.
I think it almost was the judges realizing that they scored her too low last week. So they were making up for it. Carrie Ann even said something like, I wasn't here and I thought you danced great last week, and made like a little side eye at the judges to her left. So I think that's where that's coming from.
All right, Corey and Jenna, and they danced a cha-cha. I hated it. Everything about it, starting with the creepy song. That was a very, very creepy song. Actually, the only thing I liked about that dance was Jenna's abs, because she looks like fire.
Oh my gosh. Time out. I wrote, she adds an ab every week. When she's breathing hard at the end, I can't even think about anything else because I'm just watching this like ab creature go on in her stomach. It's amazing.
It was unreal. He was terrible, though. I didn't see anything Chacha-y about it. He was just stomping around out there. And then by the time they made it up to the interview box, they asked Jenna how much has he improved this season, and her response was, "Our goal was to have fun."
I didn't care for the fact that he was so offended by his scores the previous week. That just shows a little bit of delusion on his part because his scores were extremely fair. This was cringy. They used people as props. They used ridiculous choreography to mask the situation, loud costumes, bordering a little vulgar. So, as far as tastefulness, not so much. I was glad when the nightmare was over. I think those scores were generous.
5s across the board. He did not improve. That was end scene. There's nothing else to say.
No.
Up next, we have Jen and Jan. They did a quick step. And I'm going to eat my words here because I literally came on this podcast last week and said they'll never give him a quick step. He doesn't even know what that is. And you know what? He actually looked good. That wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. His frame wasn't that bad. I am impressed that they maintained body contact. And I'm so glad it was called out because you rarely see that in quick step. And that was impressive. So I'm just going to eat my words on this one. What do you think?
I don't think it's as good as you think it was. She's cute and bubbly and enjoyable to watch. Again, Jan put a lot of tricks in it and didn't get called out for it because he's new. I thought his frame was actually pretty bad. Over the years, I've watched lots of pro-am dancing, and the pro is supposed to hold their frame rock solid in quick step. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's there and it doesn't move. I noticed tons of shoulder rotations in his frame. Jen got a comment from Derek about her shoulder creeping forward. That could be in response to what he's doing because his shoulder was forward. So I'm a little still skeptical of Jan. He's charming. It was a cute routine. I wish Jen had a more ballroomy partner because I think she has a lot of potential.
You know so much more about frame and especially quick step than I do. So I definitely appreciate your perspective and trust it more than my thoughts. I think I was just pleasantly surprised it wasn't complete trash. The judges gave them an 8.77 and I was offended that they got a higher score than Lauren again.
I know. They
Don't
need to have a little board in front of them where they write down all their scores from previous people, just to keep it in check. Okay, so after their dance was the troupe members doing a tango. That is the only dance I watched twice last night because I was just like, what is this hot mess? The guy with the bleach hair did toe leads on multiple of his progressive steps in a tango. Like Tango 101, what do we teach tango when you go to a bronze class? You take literally like step, step, step. Come on.
I really wonder what Derek would have said to them in terms of feedback.
Do you ever look in the background at what the judges are doing during those things? I feel like Derek most of the time is just trying really hard to keep his face from making any form of expression.
Speaking of tangos, next up was Robert and Whitney. They did an amazing tango, and what a pleasure it was to watch that. My notes were amazing frame. He really lowered into his steps. They did such a fun side-by-side that it didn't even bother me that they did a side-by-side in a closed frame dance. Nice job, Whitney, with the choreo. It was really cute. She did such a good job. And for the first time, I actually agreed with the judges. Who am I? Bruno said powerful, clean, clear. And Carrie Ann said the charisma is off the chart. And I really feel like that's what the audience is identifying with. Like his charisma, his performance. He's so endearing and lovable. So for the first time, I agreed with them.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the costumes were so cute. He had that pinstripe Barbie suit. Obsessed. Add that to Ross's wardrobe.
I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. So sexy it hurts.
Probably not
Yes,
Justin,
please.
but add it to Ross's. I thought it was so clean and tasteful. I wrote down that Whitney is really teaching him how to dance. I noted that they put challenging tango steps in there. Like they did the whisk, which is a super hard step, something that I feel like I'm constantly working on whenever I take lessons. I just chuckled a little because at the end he did fist bump thing, and that just brought it right back into like cronky. And that was funny.
And the judges agreed with us. They gave them an 877. I think it should have been better. Like, how was that the same as the one before it? And I just think the scoring is so skewed. There's no differentiation in the scoring.
Yeah, the score is good, but I think looking back at Jen and Jan, their score is too high. So it's just a matter of actually scoring what is appropriate versus inflating the egos.
I will always have an issue with the 1 through 10 and how they're scoring things. But moving on, next up was Elaine, Hendricks, and Alan, and they danced to Jive. What did you think?
Well, first, I want to give a little nod to you again because weren't you a cheerleader in high school?
For 1 year, does it count? I mean, it was
It
short,
was
but you
1
did a nice
year.
job.
I feel like our entire friendship of the last 15, 16 years, I thought you were a cheerleader every single year.
No, just my senior year.
Wow, you give cheerleader vibes. I don't even know you anymore. Anyway, okay, Alan's choreography is probably not the strongest, but I didn't really mind it in this dance because he gave her a ton of very traditional jive choreography. I liked that there was hints of cheerleader, but it didn't become the whole dance. A couple times she was slightly behind, and I want to give Elaine huge props. She missed a rock step in the first 20 seconds or so, and that could really throw somebody off. And she powered right through it. She even got better as she went along. Despite the granny panties she was wearing, she twirled away, and her endurance was better than the TikTok girl, which I think her name is Alex. And I think Elaine is 20 or 30 years older than Alex. So you go, girl.
I wrote down such similar comments, including the granny panties. Come on, they were distracting. But she was having fun and she was selling it. The judges gave them 777, which I was okay with.
Yeah, me too. I think that's a good score.
So next we had Baron and Britt, and my first comment on this was that they tried to do his backstory early because I don't think he's going to make it very long. Oh, and by the way, they danced to Samba. To be fair, it was a very okay start, but he got off in the middle, and unlike Elaine, he did not pick it back up, and it went downhill from there.
Poor Baron. I feel like I had higher hopes for him. First of all, I really love this song. There's potential for this to be a super cool, groovy vibe, but unfortunately, it did not keep me captivated. I was just distracted by his awkwardness trying to dance samba. So it is what it is. Poor guy.
The judges agreed with us. He got straight sixes. Next up, Whitney and Mark also danced to Chacha. What did you think?
Well, they danced to that funky music white boy song, right? I can't imagine she picked that song. That's a terrible song, and she really worked it. She's got a great pro. She has fun energy. She did like the head flip back thing multiple times, but it was working for me. Her hip action was good. Her turns were clean. I noticed when her feet are supposed to be together, her feet are like a couple inches apart still, which to me is really visually distracting. It kind of breaks up the line. Also, I really want that red outfit, but I want it with a longer skirt because the skirt on that was like this long.
Yeah.
What did you
It
think?
was sexy. I unfortunately spent more time watching Mark because he is so unreal. His choreography was so great. It was so intricate and impressive for week 2, but maybe also a little bit too fast for her. I agreed. Her spins were looking pretty good. I hated the floor work. They did this like weird thing where she was on the floor. I wasn't into it. And her New Yorkers were weird too. It was very hip forward instead of chest forward for me. And I think that was intentional, but I just was not a fan of it in the moment. But she's selling it like nobody. And I think the judges agreed with us. They gave them a 7, 7, 8, but his 8 was so annoying. It was like, last week I unintentionally gave you an 8, and this week I intentionally gave you an 8. And like, I just could have gone without it. Could have been straight 7s for me, and that also would have been fine. They're going to make it far. They're going to be fine.
Yeah, agreed. And Bruno over there with that paddle is like the drunk uncle. Pull it together, buddy. There's always a problem.
All right, next up we have Ilaria and Gleb. They did a tango. I almost wrote no notes because I was enjoying watching her dance. She looks like she belongs on a dance floor. She's so comfortable because of her experience. And all I wrote was nice ending pose. Like, that was my notes. That was it. She's doing great. Like, maybe I got tired by then. What do you think?
Maybe you didn't write a lot of notes because her dancing is good and we know her background, so we expect it to be good. And there's nothing exciting about her TV personality. My note for her is to work on that part because the dancing is really pretty strong. She has really good body awareness. She knows where her weight needs to be when she transfers from foot to foot. I think she looks like a Latin dancer doing smooth, but it's still knowledgeable, like it's coming from a good place.
I think this season is such a good test of what actually makes somebody successful, because if she can't win over the fans and get the fan vote, she's not going to go very far, even though she has everything going for her. She's so much ballroom experience. She's more qualified than some of the professionals. And it's just an interesting test of what it takes. I hope she works on her personality in front of the camera, or else she's not going to get the votes.
That's a good point.
They got a 7, 7, 7, which I was okay with. Nice middle of the pack.
Obviously, her grading scale is different than other people.
They have to grade her different. It's not even comparable. So I thought it was fair. Next up, we had Dylan and Daniella. They danced to Samba. Damn. His hips at the beginning. And I just wish that motion continued because he lost it. You have to infuse it throughout the whole dance. It was really flat and very newcomery, but he showed you he learned it, and that was amazing. His promenade runs could use some work. But Daniella did such a good job, a ton of Samba content. Of course, we always love her choreo. What did you think?
I think he put in 75% of his technique effort on that little Samba Botafogo section. Or Samba Whisk. Oh, no. Clearly haven't danced Samba in a while. Yeah. My bad. But yes, lots of Samba content. I love that Daniella is trying to teach technique. I think it's a little awkward for him, but I can appreciate that Daniella mentioned in the pre-package that Samba is one of the hardest dances that they will do this whole time.
So their scores were 7, 6, 7. And I was like, what? Derek, come on. We love him. Those abs? What is wrong with you?
Oh my gosh. I literally wrote 7 too high, 6, 7 too high. I guess on one hand, he's definitely better than Baron, but I don't know, maybe 1 7, like a carry-in hot tamale kind of 7, and that's enough because he's got a lot to work on.
Last on the table, we had Scott and Riley. They danced to Chacha. What were your thoughts?
You know, I think Scott really wants to be good at dancing. He looks like he's putting his heart and soul and time and effort. He is giving it 110%. But I think there's a difference of putting in that work and looking aesthetically pleasing. And this is not natural to him. And it just looked really uncomfortable for him. The side-by-sides were okay. The jazzy or hip-hoppy type parts. And he just looked like the lizard in that all blue, sparkly, slippery situation that I'm not sure it was working.
Yeah, I felt very similarly. I wrote, that was bad. His not Chacha was the only good part of it. It looked weak, nerdy, newcomer. But they really committed to the outfit. I loved that it was head to toe blue. They even did the blue dance shoes. Nice job with that. It just was not easy to watch, but I don't want them to go home. I just don't think this was the best week for them. The judges agreed with us. They got straight 6s, which was not great, but luckily the fans love them.
Yeah, I think that's good because I can't really justify higher scores, but I'm like you. I want to keep seeing them dance together. I think he's an interesting person and I love the commitment.
So that wrapped up the night. And then nail biter, Corey went home and Baron went home. And all I wrote was not at all surprised. That's exactly who I think deserved to go home. Like, wrote him off immediately. Won't miss you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Now that we're through that, and this was One Hit Wonder week, you should tell me if you had to dance to any One Hit Wonder, what song would you pick?
Well, the only one that comes to mind was like that cute little Asian guy, open Gangnam Style. Dude. Like, I don't even know what sort of ballroom dance I do to it, but like in my head, that is the definition of a one-hit wonder. It went crazy.
Oh my gosh. I feel like that's the perfect song.
What would you dance to?
Oh gosh. Well, since I've had a touch of time to think about it, this is more sentimental, but growing up, my mom used to always sing to us the Walking on Sunshine song. And it's just so cute and fun. I think it could be a Quickstep.
I think you guys need to do a show dance to that. That would be so cute.
Oh.
All right. So predictions for next week.
What's the theme next week?
Next week is TikTok.
1/5 of this cast is famous because of TikTok. So maybe one of those cast members will be at the top of the leaderboard just based on how much like their fame revolves around TikTok. So maybe one of the Mormon wives or Alex. And then somebody has to be the caboose every episode. And I'm going to put Andy and Emma as bringing up the rear here still.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I don't know who else I would put in the bottom at this point, but people love him. He's so endearing and cute, but that's probably the next one that deserves to go home.
Or Jan, who is not the celebrity.
I would love it if he went home, but that's probably not going to happen. All right. Any last comments?
No, I think we did it good.
All right. If that's it, then I'm Carolyn Klein.
I'm Hannah Cho. And
happy
dancing! Why is it so hard to get in sync at the end there?